you say that there is an individual approach and solution to most of the problems of borrowing in your bank, the amount of hardship that your bank and others have put on individual borrowers chasing your money is significant. And it would be remiss of me at this meeting if I were not to say to you that I believe you treat people badly and that you do not give, and I'm talking about people who are willing to attempt to repay, but for one reason or another, like you, when you got your 4.7 billion, they're in the same boat, but they don't have the capacity within their family or within their business to get back on their feet that easily. And while you have offered them, or are offering them, solutions, or they're working with you to get solutions, it is extremely difficult for them. And one of the statements that you made earlier on, you said that repossession, the level of repossessions is likely to increase. And we've seen the repossessions up to now. And when I see how the bank was treated, this is how people look at it, getting that 4.7 billion, and yes, you paid it back, and yes, people are attempting to pay their loans back, I don't think they get a fair deal from the bank, is my view. And the last thing I would say about a number of these questions that were asked, the bank was asked by members here, did you lobby or did you ask for, did you make submissions, for example, on the rent to buy or the mortgage to rent, whatever it is, the different policy measures that were being taken? And the answer from the bank was no. And some people might say, well, that's fair enough. I don't think it's fair enough, because you're the ones at the coalface. You are the ones that know from the various statements that you've taken from individuals and families that they are in real trouble. And there should be an obligation on the bank working with the state to devise some sort of strategy and policy to ensure that they're not evicted from their homes. Because it shocks me when I look at the various reports, and I know there's another side to the story, every story, but when I look at the reports of how people are evicted and treated, it shocks me.
I would have to say that I'm not a spokesperson for the Irish banking sector. I talk
for
Bank of Ireland.
So if you give me your take on it from Bank of Ireland perspective.
So from Bank of Ireland's perspective, quite rightly, we repaid the state's investment. And to do that, we had to make tough decisions with our own business. We had to make choices. We had a responsibility, as everyone does, to make reductions in the number of people we employed, to restructure our businesses, to raise private capital. So we had to make choices. And some of those choices were not choices you would do in an ideal world, but we had to sell businesses. But ultimately, we repaid the taxpayer. We're not asking to be thanked for that. That was our responsibility. A lot of our competitors have not repaid the taxpayer, but I can't speak for them, and I can't speak for their practices. But we have an ultimate responsibility. We also have responsibility to the providers of our capital, our depositors, and all of our other customers who are doing their best to meet their repayments. What I continue to stress, and again, because it's a matter of public record, anything I say is verified or verifiable. For customers who engage with us, for 90% of them, for example, on mortgage arrears, we can meet their needs. For 10% of them, we can't, clearly. But we cannot solve every issue in society.
But do you not accept